Hi, I'm Maggie,
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
a very bookish podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to a very bookish podcast. Today is episode 27, and today's kind of more of a chiller episode. I'm going to be talking lower. It's late. We're both really tired, but we need to get this done. It is literally Thursday, June 3rd, and this episode is going up tomorrow, June 4th. So we are definitely doing this very last minute, less than 24 hours before the actual episode is aired. But we kind of are just going to be talking about random stuff, what we're reading, things that have been happening lately, kind of giving you updates. Yeah, that's what
yeah.
today's episode is going to be. A quick episode, really. We're actually going to keep it under an hour this time.
We
Because,
promise. We promise.
yeah.
It's honestly because we've had so many things come up scheduling wise with episodes coming soon, and so many things have been moving around because of certain guests that we have. If you listen at the end of this episode, you'll find out who our next two guests will be, finishing out this month. And yeah, it's just been a lot. And we're finishing up, well, I'm finishing up the school year. Maggie, you just finished.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get into that like workflow of like working out, avidly posting on TikTok, and then like I'm gonna try to start getting back into writing, but I kind of like I need to lightly add on, I feel like. So I'm starting to add on working out again. And so I think next week is when I'll start adding on like starting to sit down and write because like I have time. I have the time to write. Like
Yeah.
I have it. But it's just like that like, okay, I'm gonna write now, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna be like doing podcast stuff at this time. Like I need that like structure, I think, in my life where it's
Mhm.
like I used to do like those hourly blocks. Have you ever done that where you like schedule it by
Yeah.
the hour? That is so helpful. And I used to do that freshman year, and I would get stuff done. Like I would get stuff done where I'm like, okay, for an hour you do this, and then you're done. You don't have to do it till tomorrow. And I'm like, I need to start doing that again.
See, and me, I can't, I don't know what it is about the way that my mind works, is that like I have to basically bully myself to do something. Like I have to be like, if it's like laundry day or cleaning my room, it'll be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to clean my room. Tomorrow I'm going to clean my room. I'm going to clean my room. We're
Mhm.
going to clean our room. And I'll have to say it over and over and over to basically like make myself do it. And it's the same with books. It's
Mhm.
like literally that with like anything. I have to make myself do it. And then there's other times where I'll just start doing it randomly. And it was crazy because I also saw this TikTok of this guy. He's his like it's like a POV. He goes like, "Oh, your friend comes into your room," and he goes like, "Oh, why is your why are there no dishes in your room?" And he's just like, "Well, I use the might as well policy." He's like, "Might as well policy. What does that mean?" And he goes like, "Well, it's like this. I'm going to go down to the kitchen
I might as well
sometime
bring.
today. I might as well take the dishes down there. I'm going to end up eating cereal, so I might as well wash the bowl that I ate cereal in yesterday. I'm going to need clothes, so I might, or I can fold at least one t-shirt. I can do that. Well, if I'm gonna fold at least one, I might as well do it all.
That's actually really smart because that's I feel like I do that as well. I do that where it's like I'm going down and I like see something and I'm like, well, I might as well just bring it down if I'm already going down there. It's not like it's gonna be hurting me because I feel like there's always like I do have like dishes and stuff in my room, but I always am going downstairs. But I like it's always that one time where I'm like, I might as well. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna start implementing that where it's like I might
yeah.
as well be doing this.
I need to do it more because like it's honestly helped. I've tried doing it in the past like week and it's been pretty good.
Get a tattoo on your wrist. I might as well. When you look down, you're like,
Might as well do it.
might as
Yeah,
well.
that's kind of what it's been.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's I need to start looking for a job because after this, next after these 2 weeks, I won't be working at the school anymore and
Forever?
forever.
Wow. Are you
That'll
thinking about
be 6 years of my life there. 7. I think I started working there the summer. No, the semester after I graduated high school. So 2014, September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I wasn't even.
Yeah, it's a long time. But I needed to leave there like 5 years ago.
You
But
you needed to leave there like the first year you've been
I
there.
probably should have, but it was like a good experience there. That's
What are you planning on
just
doing?
I have no idea.
You should see if you can apply to Barnes and Noble.
Okay, so I looked into that. But the closest one to me is about 16 miles away, which is not bad.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
bad.
I have like my boss, she drives an hour to work.
Yeah, it's not that far, but considering where I lived in LA, the closest one was always like 4 miles away.
Yeah.
And then another
I mean,
one was 7 miles away.
that's living in the suburbs. It's a little more of a distance. It's
Yeah.
a city of like, oh, it's literally right down the street. I can walk. I could technically bike to my Barnes and Noble because it's literally like a mile to 2 miles away, but I still drive time wise because I leave like 5 minutes before my shift starts.
Yeah. I'm gonna try. I looked into it, but maybe I went through the wrong link or something, but it didn't show anything coming up. And I was like,
That's true. We aren't hiring currently because we are fully staffed already. It is also that summertime where it's like people are starting to like need jobs and stuff, and
mhm.
a lot of teenagers are starting to come into the job market, so that's going to be competition.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna figure this out. I'm
Have you ever thought about nannying? I don't know why
honestly,
I could
that
see
might be
you
a
with
good one.
kids. I don't know why, but I think you're good with kids, but I also think it's because you are a teacher. You were so I think that's automatically why I associate you with kids, and you're also like wanting kids right now, and
I
like
do want kids. I
and it's
want
so
kids.
funny because it's completely opposite of me where I'm just like no, like I see a
Well,
kid and I'm like
yeah.
ugh.
But you're younger. You're younger.
But
So
I've always been like that with kids. Like even like kids that I liked, I was always like ugh.
yeah. My mom is kind of like that. Not with her own kids, I
Yeah.
think.
Hopefully.
Um, no, she's been really good with kids, like her kind of, her adult life. After having me, she was always like a great mom. I love her like so much. And um, but now she's like at the age where like
She
a
wants grandkids.
baby.
Yeah.
No, no, no. She'll like see a baby and she'll like want to hug it and hold it and like be like,
And give it
oh, so
back.
cute, right? And then like after 10 minutes, she's like, okay, here you go.
I
That's
don't want to
it.
do it anymore. Yeah. Well, it's like I like children who don't cry, don't poop, don't I,
So
and that's
you want an adult and baby.
that's why I think that if I ever do have children, I'll most likely adopt. I'm the type of person who would adopt just because like there are so many kids that need to be adopted, not even in other countries, but in our own country.
Mhm.
A lot of kids need being adopted, and it's a lot of older kids as well because all the
Yeah.
babies get snatched. But
You want to hear this kind of cute, sad-ish story? It was kind of sad to me, but it's very
okay,
cute.
okay.
Um, my brother Aaron, he is 10 years old. Um, he one day, and this is after a couple weeks of us hanging out and like me helping him with his homework and his schoolwork and stuff like that, because you go through those cycles with siblings. And he stopped me one day. He's like, Grace, can I ask you a question? And I'm like, yeah, but what's up? And he goes like, if mom and dad died and you didn't know me, would you adopt me? And I said,
Nope.
yeah. you I can't with you. I can't with you. Because I knew you were gonna say something like that. But no, I said, yeah, Dad, of course I would adopt you. You're my brother. I have to adopt you. And then he goes like, but no, if I wasn't your brother, would you adopt me? I
Oh,
said, yeah.
this is a powerful question for a 10-year-old.
Yeah. And he asked me this a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was just like, would you adopt me? And I'm like, yeah, of course I would. Like, why wouldn't I? He's just like, I don't know. Just wanted to know. It's just like,
That's
well, yeah.
this is
And
scary.
then he's just like, would you adopt Jacob? And I'm like, my other brother who's 21 now. I said, no. Hell no.
So we know who your favorite is now.
Well, because Aaron's 10
That's true. That's true.
and Jacob's 21. Like, I'm going to adopt a 21-year-old?
Wait, your brother's only like a year older than me?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense in my mind. That doesn't sound right in my mind. I still feel like he's like 3 years older than me.
It's because you've heard his voice, and
That's
his voice
true.
is kind of deep.
That's true.
For our listeners out there, I think Maggie has a crush on my brother, but
I
we're
do
not going
not
to
know. We literally talk almost every single conversation we have about your brothers. Like, no. I'm sorry, Jacob, you are not my type. Let's be honest. Let's all be
Darn.
honest.
I was trying to adopt you into the family.
I'm pretty sure your parents would not approve of me.
Probably not. You're too crazy, friend.
I literally, like, I think that's what I'll put in my dating profiles when if I ever start them up back again. I'm gonna be like, I'm the craziest person you will ever meet in your life. Like, if you cannot handle crazy, you don't swipe right. If you can't handle crazy,
Yeah.
don't swipe right. Because I'm
I
literally
gotta,
the craziest person.
gotta get back on that. Gotta get back on that.
Well, I bought plates today. Like, I bought actual plates for like an apartment today. Do you wanna
Wow.
see?
Adulting.
I'm adulting. Like, these are actually really nice plates too.
That's how you know that you've grown up. When things like pretty plates and really nice silverware and singing washing
They're like
machines.
white.
Oh, yeah. They're
Um,
like the flat ones with the
yeah,
rim.
they're flat and it's like an ombre from a peachy pink to like a white. They're $3
Mhm.
each.
Pretty-
Ceramic plates. I was like, they were
pretty good.
clearance $3. I was like, thank you, Home Goods. Home Goods? That place is so good to shop.
I need to start filling my house up with more stuff.
I
No, I need to start fixing the stuff that I already have. That's
You need to
what
start
we're-
actually organizing your room and getting your room together.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
we're gonna do.
So I feel like when I like made my room and stuff, I felt like I was able to do more when I had my room done. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like, okay, I have this done. I'm not having to worry about it. I'm not having to look at stuff and like stress about it. It's my room is complete. I can sit at my desk. I can write. I can do other things at my desk. I can get ready. So like, I think getting your office ready will help you, I don't
With
know, just
productivity.
with productivity and getting stuff done.
Yeah, because like it's just this thing about like when you come into a space and like things are so cluttered and disorganized, you don't feel at ease because in the back of your mind, whether like you are aware of it or not, you're like, I need to put this away.
Yeah.
But it's like, but then there's like, us who go through like those depressive states who just couldn't care less. But then how good you feel when you're
After.
like,
That's why I'm that type of person where I'm either very clean, but like I'm always clean at my house because I have parents who are military and like to check my room. Or like when I was like I living in my dorm room, like I could tell, like you could tell when I was like in one of those like states where my like everything was really messy and stuff and I didn't care. Like my desk would be full of stuff and I did not care. And I mean, I do like a cleaning. I try to do a cleaning once a week, but sometimes I was just like, dude, it's like draining to even think about it sometimes. But yeah. I mean, I'm not there right now, thank the Lord. I've been working out. I've been doing the Stairmaster, which definitely has been helping with my serotonin levels. I don't know, endorphins.
well, that and you've been reading smut while you're walking. So
I mean, yeah. Funny thing is, so I told Grace this, but right before we came to film this episode, I was out with my coworkers and we were at this like place where you can play like games and stuff and have waffles, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and somebody played 3 male parts at a time. The male parts being male thing, and I went, oh. The whole table turned and looked at me. And like my immediate thought when that card came up was like reverse harem. Interesting. But none of them, like all of them were like
Girl.
Because it's three at once. And I was like, oh, I wonder how that, I was like, oh. And they were all like, they all visibly turned towards me because it's like a hexagon table. So each of them have their own side. So then they all look at me and they're all like, and I'm just like, I had to like look away because I was just like, it was so embarrassing. But I was like, that's the ultimate smut reader moment where you look at one of those cards and you're like, oh.
And you're just like, simple solutions right there. Come on, guys. Get
Oh.
on this level.
No, it was really funny and I really enjoyed it. And like working at Barnes and Noble is really fun. So if you could, definitely try.
I'm trying to, I'll try even there or at the library.
Ooh.
If not, maybe the post office. Who knows? It's a change in career time. We'll
Mhm.
see. I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I'm leaving my
Mhm.
job because it's like,
It's a phase that you need to get out of. It is something that you need, I think, that break from certain people there.
yeah. Um, but- yeah. It's just been a while. I actually haven't really said this on the podcast, but I've been like so grateful for like quarantine because like it gave me the space that I needed. Honestly, like straight up, like if we had not had quarantine, most likely I would have started talking to him again.
Him as in referring to the guy we always talk about as our ex-boyfriend. And like I honestly think if I wasn't here in your life, you would talk to him.
Most likely you would
If you
probably.
if you didn't have book talk, if you didn't have other friend, like if you didn't have your online internet community where you can go to us like Eamon and Melissa and stuff, I think, I mean, I would if I had nobody else. Not saying that you don't have other people, but like I feel like we talk daily, and if you
Yeah,
don't have somebody that you talk to daily who annoys you like I do,
yeah,
and
really.
sends TikTok to you, TikToks back and
It's
forth,
yeah, because like I mean, he wasn't a bad guy.
but it was just the relationship would never work out.
Yeah, we weren't what each other needed. Like, yeah, that's the grown-up me version. That's how you know I've like matured somewhat. Is when you can look back on a relationship and be like, well, we just weren't meant to be. We were in different places, but and say that. Of course, at the time when it's like a fresh breakup, you're like, man, I miss him so much. I want him.
You fall
Or
into
like
that like cycle of I hate him or I miss him.
yep,
It's like
it's one of
it's
those.
polar opposites, but there's no in between. And then
Yeah.
you look back like 2 years later and you're like, I was a dumb bitch.
I was a dumbass. Like there was I'll share this story. I don't think I've told you this story.
I probably you haven't. You've been revealing a lot of stuff to me this week.
I have. Okay. We're reaching new friendship levels with all
I
our
didn't know we
listeners.
could go further than what we've already experienced
Oh
together.
yeah. So this ex, I wasn't dating. Well, we were dating on and off for about 6 years, until it finally ended. And during one of the final breakups, I decided I was going to be strong and let them go. And so I did. I packed up all of the little gifts and trinkets that I had collected over the years because I'm a collector, all the movie tickets and
Oh,
whatever, blah, blah, blah. Packed it into a box, and he and I were still quote unquote friendly, or so he thought. And I texted him one day. I'm like, oh, I have a gift for you. I have a surprise for you.
oh, you were petty.
Girl, yes, I was.
I
This is
love
like
this. I did this
somebody better
too.
write
I
the
did
story.
this too. I did this too.
And then he's just like, oh, what's the surprise? And I was just like, oh, I'll take it to you at work. And he's just like, okay, well, I'm driving by your house right now to give you your jacket because I had left my jacket in his car like 3 weeks ago. He comes by and gives it to me. He's like, so what's the surprise? And I'm just like, oh, don't worry, you'll get it at work. So flash forward a couple of hours at work, he's on the yard with a couple of students. I go to his desk and I put it on his desk. with a little like note, like surprise. I don't know what I wrote on that, something. Put it on his desk. And then like left and went to do my job and teach art class or whatever. And then like maybe like 2 hours later, I get a text and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And then like he sends me a picture of it, and then he sends me a picture of this letter that was in there that I had taken from his desk. And the letter was dated for Valentine's Day a year before. And that letter was just like, you know what? I think, do I have a picture?
Are you gonna read the letter?
Do you want me to? This is like petty.
This is really petty. This episode is gonna be life updates and pettiness. No, I think okay, there's a thing that like it is very like releasing to give back everything. Like I had presents and like gifts and stuff and I give it all back and I was like it's very it lifts stuff off your shoulders cuz like looking at it and like knowing it's with you always makes like trigger something in your head and you're like thinking about that stuff. But when you finally like let it go, it's kind of like those TikToks where you see of people like smashing the plates and stuff. It's kind of like that feeling.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely like a release moment.
Oh my gosh, you have it?
I'm looking for it.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny. But no, it
So,
definitely.
so this letter was the backstory with this letter is that the way that it was written at the time, I thought it was for me. And I'm so grateful for you in my life and all of these things. Very sweet and loving, using the L word a lot, and signed his initials and then a nickname for himself
Mhm.
that I had never ever called him. So I'm like, that's suspicious. I'm gonna hold on to this.
Wait.
And he didn't like say anything, didn't notice that it was gone, whatever it was. And then I don't think I can find it. I think it deleted it, which is another good sign, right? And so like he basically like took a picture of the letter while I was showing the box. He's like, why the hell is this in here? And because I found out that that letter wasn't for me, it was for this other girl that he was dating during one of our breaks
Oh,
when
okay.
he was still talking to me and trying to get back with me
Ooh.
and still being physical with me.
I wish you knew the girl so you could tell her.
I do know her.
Wait,
Not personally. Not
is
personally. No,
is
no, no.
okay.
It's this other girl. And we all know each other because we all work for the city.
Yeah.
So anyways, I showed that letter and then like he was just like, why is this in here? Like, and he knew that he said that specifically because I knew that it wasn't for me. So he put it away and then I don't respond, go home. He goes home and then he sends me a video of him burning the box with all of the stuff in there. So he tried to one up me in pettiness.
But
And
like you just trashed
I was
everything.
like, okay, okay, and okay. And then flash forward, I'm like, I'm like releasing, I'm good, I'm not talking to him, I'm going to hang out with friends. Good. Then the texts start of him like calling me and texting me and wanting to hit me up and trying to apologize. And it went on for weeks to the point where all of our coworkers knew that he was trying to win me back. And all of our coworkers, he worked in the office, and all of our coworkers at the time were like helping him. Like, how do I get her back? How do I do this? And she's like, well, first of all, do this. He had this picture of him and this girl who I did not like that worked with us at her wedding but the way the picture was posed was like he was the groom. Yeah. Yeah. And she stapled it on his board next to his desk. Mhm. Mhm.
For
This
audio listeners, I am speechless. I'm literally like jaw like
girl, this is like a whole romance novel, okay?
this is literally we should add this. Oh,
Girl, oh, for sure, for
wait,
sure. You know, that's his middle name?
really? What
Yeah.
if we add that, like add like the burning of the box and stuff to the
Oh,
book?
for sure. For sure, girl. We got all this. Okay, so let me wrap up the story. So she had that picture up there, and I had told him that I didn't like that picture up there because people who would come to campus would look at that picture and think that they were the ones that were married. He did not have any pictures of me up there, which was fine because, we're in a work environment and I don't care. But to have another girl's picture up there who's married herself was not
The
cool.
married woman posted it, put it up there.
Yeah, she put it up there.
If I was her
She
husband,
has
I'd
this
be.
thing about staking a claim on all the guys that work with us.
Mm.
And it's just like, girl, you're messy, but okay. And I have already had problems with her because she tries to undermine my authority with parents and all these other things and blah, blah, blah. And she's just petty with me because every time that he and I would not be talking, he would talk shit in the office with all of them. And she would piggyback on this. Like
Mm.
she would take the opportunity. And she would always be like, oh, can you go fill up my water bottle? Oh, can you go get me my lunch from the refrigerator when I'm sitting right there? And she's like, trick. Anyways, one of my friends who works in the office was just like, first off, why don't you take down that picture? She already told you she didn't like it and you're not listening to her. He took it down, threw it away right that day.
That's good.
The married girl, she saw that and was kind of like, are you mad at me or something? And then he's just like, no, it's fine, whatever. Then get this, 2 days before Valentine's Day, he ends up sending me flowers, like those expensive.
The ones that never like.
No, they died. They're
Oh,
like real, but there was like, I think it was like about 2 dozen roses or three. I
I
don't
hate
remember.
roses.
Me too. Those are not my favorite flowers. And he knows what my favorite flowers were, but he most likely didn't pay attention. Anyways, sends them to be delivered at the school, has a student bring them up to me when I'm surrounded with people.
That's okay. That is where it crosses the line if you do it at a work environment with children involved.
Yeah. And then and then I just leave it there, don't open it. And then every now and then I see him like peeking to see if I opened it. I didn't open it. My mom saw this and I was just like, oh, somebody got me flowers. And then she looks at me and she goes like, I'd return them. And I was like,
I love
ooh,
your mom. I stand your mom.
ooh. I was like, I should. And I'm like, you know what? Let me put them in the vase because they come in the box and then you put them in the vase
Yeah.
that comes with it. And I'm gonna put them on his desk and just leave them there on his desk, right? I don't do that.
You should have
My
left them in like the
grandma,
break room, and you
my
should.
grandma got to me and she's just like, you can't do that. You got to be nice because this is the first time that he had ever done something like that. And if you do something bad, it'll
Just
ruin that experience for him ever doing something like that again for anyone. And I was just like, you're right. You're right. So I'll take him home. Then he's like, can we talk, please? Can we call? Like, let me call you, blah, blah, blah. Tries FaceTiming me. And then my stupid ass, one day I'm trying to clear the FaceTime from my notifications and I swipe instead of putting clear and it calls him back. And I start fumbling with my phone all over my bed, try to get it to cancel the call. He picks up and then I I click end call so fast. I was just like, oh my God, I'm the stupidest person ever. And then he texts me back. He's just like, it was nice to see your face. Like, shut up, whatever. Anyways. And he's like, can I come by your house right now? Can I come give you a coffee? Can we? I'm like, no, no, no. Then he sends me pictures that we took together. I went to a wedding with him. That was the first time he and I ever went to go see his family. And I was like dressed up. It was like my favorite picture of him. I'll send it to you, Maggie, later because I looked pretty good. I miss your face. I miss your whatever, blah, 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 blah. Pulls up to my house. It's just like, come on, please. Can I just come? Can we just go get coffee just so I could talk with you? My other friend that works with us is just like, just let him talk to you. And then you can just be like, look, you said what you had to say. I don't want to deal with it. I was like, okay, fine. I told him, you can ask me to go out. We can talk. But you got to come inside the house with all my family. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, he knocks at the door and my mom lets him in.
She should have kicked his butt out.
And I'm like, Mom, what you doing? And then my dad is just like, oh yeah, come in, come in. I'm like, Dad.
Tell him, no, your parents did not have your back in that moment.
They did not. And I think because they were used to me talking and that whole thing, they're like, she needs to figure it out on her own. So then he comes into the living room, starts talking with me, starts crying, like sobbing. I fucked up. I did all this stuff. I'm so sorry. I know I wasn't trying hard enough and I wasn't blah, 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 all the bullshit. And I was just like, dude, I don't trust you enough to be straight up with me. So I don't know. I don't trust you at all. And I don't trust you unless I see you doing something. So I'm not going to do anything. That's you that you need to work that out. And then I'm crying because I'm mad, walking him out of the house. And then can I have a hug? No, get away from me. Leave. He's at his car and he's about to get in. And I remember this picture so clearly. Turns around and I'm talking about like this 6'4" big guy crying, sobbing, breaking down, hoping that I take him back. I was like, no. And then 3 weeks later, 3 weeks later, don't get mad at me, girl. That's not even the worst one. That's not even the worst one, girl. And then 3 weeks later, like he's always going to get me food, whether I eat with him or not. He's active, he's trying, he's doing everything. And I let him do that for about 2 months.
I would have reported this fool to HR.
Oh, for sure. For 2 months and does not touch me, which is like a record for him. And so I gave him another shot and it didn't work out again.
Obviously, it didn't work
But
out.
that burning box thing and the whole flowers and the crying, it was like the funniest part. Yes, it was just
the box burning is so cringe because he's like
so like high school. I was like, come on, dude. And get this. You know who told him to burn it?
The bitch.
The bitch that was married in the picture. She was just like, burn it and send her a video of it. Like, girl, you petty. But okay.
No, I love the messy side of TikTok, but sometimes I'm just like, stop trying to be messy.
Stop. Like, you didn't need to do all of that. You had a whole, and I got so much dirt on her, but I'm not gonna, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
But like, I never said anything about her, but I don't know what her deal was. I guess it's because he was like the only guy working with us at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got him.
She needed male attention when her husband wasn't around.
She needed male attention at work, I guess. At work. Because she got it at home. Mm-hmm. But at work, apparently she didn't. And yeah. But it was always that thing with him. That push and pull. I want you, but I don't want you. Let me disappear for a little bit. Let's get all the benefits, but not have any of like the actual relationship. And then let me dip. Yeah. A lot of emotional trauma. But towards the end, this is like towards the end. Like the last round through that we got back together. Because in the beginning, I was like, he had a big lockdown on me to the point where I couldn't do anything. And I feel like that's more where the trauma is. Towards the end, it's more funnier because like I get to like start loosening my chains and letting go. But
Mm.
at the beginning, it was not good. I was 18 when I started dating him, and he was 21, and it just wasn't all good.
I think it shows that like we always like to say, "Oh, I'm mature for my age." It's never true. That is never true. Like you think when you're like at your age, you're like, "Oh, I'm the most mature I'll ever be." Hell no. Me at 18, 2 years ago is myself 2 years ago. I was the cringiest person I have ever met. Myself 5 years ago, I blocked that from my memory.
Oh yeah.
I think there's this idea that like, oh, I'm very mature for my age, and like you might be mature for your age, but like you're thinking mature for your age, you're like an adult because you're not. I used to say, I used to make fun like, oh, I'm like a 20-year-old stuck in like a 16-year-old body, and I'm like, no, I was still very cringe. I was still
Yeah.
hella immature, and it's not just mature in like, oh, I can like do stuff around the house and stuff. It's just emotional maturity, especially when it comes to relationships. And
Yeah. Because yeah, there was a lot of like bad that still gives me PTSD and stuff from it. Not physical abuse, but like emotional abuse and like mental abuse. But there were good things entangled in all of it that like makes you forget. And like low key Stockholm syndrome, like you're forgetting like this guy kidnapped you, but then he's giving you food and giving you protection. But that's not really, those are basic necessities that you should have
he stripped
already.
yeah, he stripped you of everything you needed so that he can be the one to provide it for you. So you start to depend on him,
Yeah,
and you get
because like my physical like confidence was not there. I did
you
not
needed
have
the
I
validation because
yeah. I did not think I was pretty enough. I did not think I was desirable. I didn't think I was sexy. I didn't think I was like pretty, or, you know. And through my relationship with him, through him, I did find my confidence and see like, yes, I am beautiful. I am gorgeous. I am desirable. I can dress sexy. I can be looked at as this object that like makes you turn heads down the street. I can look like that because he looks at me like that. So if he looks at me like this, anyone could look at me like this. And that's like the one positive thing that I took from him. But disentangling that from all of his ties was really hard. And I think part of it had to do with like proximity with him and like, all of these, our environment didn't really help with it either. But me able to let go was pretty good because like now I'm not all the way up there, but I do feel very confident. I don't feel like I don't look pretty. I do know that I'm beautiful. I know that I look amazing, and I know that I'm desirable even with my size, in spite of my size. Like, no, it's not that. Like, I know that I am, and it's because of him. And so that's like the bad thing. And then like other people who can get out of like these toxic relationships can later on down the road realize those were the reasons that you ended up staying with that person, but there were so many other reasons why you ended up leaving with that person. And I feel like that's what, like, people say that readers always have like this twisted view on like toxic relationships and like um romanticizing certain characters and all of these things, and we do to an extent, but
we can like some of us readers who are older, we realize it's fiction. Like I
yeah.
I think I'm gonna talk about this in my 365 days video. Is I get a lot of comments that like, oh, you're romanticizing being in the mafia and stuff. And I'm like, do I look like I want to be in the mafia? Do I look like I actually want to be a criminal? Do you think I want to be associated with criminals? Do you think I want to be in a life of crime? Like, no, I do not want that. And I think there's this idea that there are younger people who do fetishize, like romanticize that kind of lifestyle, and they think, oh, this is like the ultimate thing. But like us older people who this content is produced for are like, I can enjoy this work of fiction and understand that this is not the real world. The rules are different here, and I would never want this to happen to me. Like, I think a lot of people forget that when it comes to like mafia books, dark bully romances, reverse harem. I mean reverse harem, I don't know, but
I mean, because we use it to kind of be
escape
able, yeah, and it's this thing that allows us to breathe
and
because like
experience things without having the consequences.
yeah, because like, there's a lot of things that, I was able to kind of get over, not with this relationship, but with other things in general, um, that I was able to kind of overcome with reading with certain books. And um and it's crazy because the books that are a little bit heavier and a little bit darker are not the ones to trigger me. It's the fluff ones that trigger me, the ones that have little arguments or little bit sayings and little push and pulls that end up creating like this whole like release
Flashback.
of emotion. Yeah. And it's you would think it's supposed to be these other darker romance books, and it's not.
Because the thing about darker romance books is they're so unrelatable that you're able to appreciate that it's not real, versus like you do have these fluffy romances where you're like, this is a little too close to home. And it's because it's so realistic sometimes that you're like, this could possibly happen to anybody.
Yep. I mean, let's see. Well, I was just reading
The chase.
The Chase from Barry, and like I was about 80% through the way through the book, and I had like this whole like emotional breakdown because Summer and Fitz's relationship reminded me of those early stages of this past relationship. Like I was up midnight snapping Maggie these long
Yeah, I
mad.
got 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. I was getting your notifications.
I'm sorry, and like
No,
I was
I think it's funny.
crying.
Like, I was asleep.
Oh yeah, I was like crying and like sobbing, and I did not understand what exactly it was in those books that triggered me. But it was just that I want you, but I don't want you. And it's kind of like that simple thing was what triggered me.
Yeah.
The fighting, the one time that they actually had like this argument of like, no, you're not going anywhere, you're not breaking up with me. Because that always happens in these romance books. That argument really got to me because a lot of the things I had said in both of their positions,
They said
they said.
it felt real to you because you were like, I've been in their both of their positions
I've
before.
been
I
in
have
both of their
been in
positions.
their both of their positions. And I think that's why it hit you so hard, is because like you're reliving this and you've moved on from it and you're reliving it and you're like, wow, I went through it. And I know it triggered you. And I feel
Oh
bad that
yeah.
that book triggered you because I didn't experience it. I didn't have that experience with that book, but like
And anyone who else reads this book,
probably,
you won't. Yeah,
yeah.
you'll just look
It
at it and just be
that's
like, oh, okay.
that was one of the things that like, should there be a trigger warning for that book? Because like, yeah, like obviously it's gonna hurt some people because some people have gone through that. And like that's where I was kind of like, how would you know? Like like darker romances, yes, darker romances have like heavier topics and stuff, but this light fluffy romance, like I enjoyed the book when I first read it. I sped through it so fast, and I think that's why I missed a lot of things that are really wrong with Briar U, is because I read through it so fast. I wasn't sitting there thinking about it, whereas now I'm thinking about it and I'm like, this was really not the right thing to do. Um
It was very like, well, this is to every person. Like every person has their own thing,
Yeah.
you know. Everybody knows what things trigger them. Like if you had this enemies to lover romance, you know certain themes in those romances will
That,
mirror what you had, you know, or this opposites attract romances because that's what you had, you'll have those experiences, you know, because in opposites attract, you don't want each other, but then you do. And yeah, I just sent Maggie a picture of the desk. I thought I deleted it, but I can apparently I did not. But it's kind of like up to you. You got to kind of decide how you want to tread, and if you start feeling uncomfortable with certain things early on the book, DNF it. You don't have to finish it. I ended up making myself finish it because I was just like, no, I need to get through this. I need to be able to overcome this. And that was where I was at a stage in my life where I was able to do that. Other people might not be able to do that. And the same thing goes with like any type of assault, any type of trauma or whatever. If you feel like you're getting close to that, if you're reading the inner monologue and it's dealing with something that mirrored what you were feeling, you can DNF it. You can stop it right there. You can skip ahead. But you need to know your limits and kind of do the research on your own. If you go into a book and you want to jump in with no view of what's down there,
yeah.
that's kind of on you. But if you know that you were easily triggered, I didn't know that I
That's the
could
thing, it's
be.
like this is such like a that's why I was like this is such a one off because I've never heard anybody crying over this book like because of they what they've went through, and I think that's this situation where it's like how would anybody be able to guess that? Like how would you be able to guess that? Because you've moved on. You've moved
Yeah,
on.
well,
But also
moved on in the sense that I'm no longer wanting to go back there.
yeah, the
But
picture.
yeah.
I've never seen
Um,
a full photo of him either.
oh, you haven't, huh? I'll send you. I don't think I have any more.
He looks a lot older than you.
He's only 3 years older than me.
Only?
Yeah,
This dude looks like he's in his 40s.
it's the beard.
He has a beard?
Well, it's the gruff.
It's like the goatee.
Oh, I found the letter.
Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. Sorry to like
No, no.
we were totally having this like I you were having this like heartwarming thing and I was focusing on this photo and I was like I can't like that whole time Grace was talking, I was literally looking at this photo and I was disgusted. I was just like,
Okay.
okay, are you gonna read the letter? Wait, can you send me the letter? I
It's
love
kind
how
of a little cringe.
it's probably really cringy because it was written by a guy.
Actually, maybe. We'll see. I'll change a couple lines so that this person out there doesn't know. Watch them stumble across this. Sorry, dude.
I
You
mean,
dug
it's
your own grave.
too. It's
Anyways,
part of your life.
yeah.
You went through it.
If my future husband listens to this, you probably already read this letter. If I still have it at the time I meet you. Anyways, happy Valentine's
Play this
Day.
episode for them.
Here we go. Happy Valentine's Day. I call it magic when I'm with you. You're such a loving presence in my life, and I wouldn't change one thing about the time we've spent together. Heart. I couldn't think of anything but positive thoughts when I was writing this. I know it's a little sloppy, but I wanted to get it out of the way. Most likely, get it out of the way meant just get it on paper.
But
That
bad word choice.
yeah, that word choice was not it. Anyways, thoughts and what I like about you. Your hair, your eyes, your smell, your laugh, your skin, your body, your kisses, your
Ah.
S3X, your strength, the way you tell me to shut up, and most of all, the way you look at me. I hope this wasn't too much. Clearly, it wasn't, but I love you and care for you so much. XOXO, double heart, your E. And
That was the most.
another thing.
I'm sorry, the fact that he listed what I
That
like about you, physical traits, not even like, oh, you do this for me, this you make me feel this way. When you're like the sunshine that brights up my like the light of my like darkness. Like he literally listed like just basically like what she looked like
which is why the confidence on that side was built up so high with him.
because
He helped me with that. I don't know.
I think he helped you or he just like
He just made me, he opened my eyes to notice it in myself.
yeah, but he would use it as more of like a superficial level. This is a
Yeah.
very superficial letter.
Yeah.
Like, and it's also this is a love letter you write to somebody for Valentine's
Oh,
Day.
this is not the only one. I have another one.
Do you still have it?
Do I?
No way. No, you don't.
We'll check after this.
All those boxes in your room. You can't even find
No,
Apple
it
Pencil.
was in my wallet. It was in my wallet, and it was like in those folds that you
Oh,
never
the one
touch.
that he gave you? He gave you one?
Yeah, he gave me another one.
Oh.
This one he did not give to me, and the reason
Yeah.
why I thought it was for me was because I would always look at him and he would always comment. I'm like, stop looking at me like that, or like, you're always watching me. And it's just because I like looking at him, but apparently it was a bad thing. Or he would always say about my eyes. That was a thing. Always in the sunlight. He loved looking at my eyes in the sunlight. My hair was blonde, mostly because of him, which is why I'll never go blonde again because I'm tired of it. Anyways, that's 101 on me, guys. That's why I'm so messed up. And that's why if you notice certain books that I actually like really like are the ones where the guy is opening up and actually talking and actually striving to have a good relationship. Like that's why I like Castile so much and Crown of Gilded Bones. Like a lot of people didn't like that book,
Trying.
because I liked it because he was constantly going back and being like, we need to make decisions. We need to do this together. We need to talk.
Yeah, the Crown of Gilded Bones, like, yes, a lot of it was repetitive, especially I don't know if I sent you the TikTok. It was about like Kieran like always getting angry that Poppy was asking questions, but of course, like Poppy would ask so much questions because she's been sheltered her whole life. And he's one thing that I got annoyed with Kieran is that he was this like, oh, you should already know all this. It's like, no, she shouldn't because she's been trapped.
And she's asking questions so us, the readers, could find out more. So, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I really like the Crown of Gilded Bones because of like that, because of like the relationships and because of the friendships. And those are the books that I usually gravitate towards because they have like healthy relationships where they're actually discussing and the found family, because it's built on more than just the superficial. It's not just I want you and then that's it. It's I want you and I'm going to actively pursue you and I'm going to actively show you, not just from the girl's perspective and the guy's chasing her, but the girl's also putting in the work to show this is the person that she chose. Those are like the books that really get to me because that's what a relationship should be. And that's what I'm craving. That's what I'm missing in life, to have that person who will understand that it's a push and pull, but not a push and pull where we're pulling each other away and pushing both.
But you give some and you take some kind of thing. It's a
Yeah.
two street. You're both putting in the effort. It's not 50-50. It's you both put in 100%.
Yeah. And then that's why I don't see certain books as with toxic relationships as super toxic. Like, yeah, it's toxic because he kidnapped her, or it's toxic because he's trying to use her power or something. But let's go beyond the fantasy and the actual foundation of their actual relationship. That's the part that we need to break apart. Like, yeah, the fantasy part, yeah, that's toxic. He's taking her simply because he wants to use her power to take over the world. Yes, that's toxic. But when he's actually talking with her, when he's actually dealing with her, is the relationship itself toxic, or is just the abuse of power toxic? Like, that's how I interpret certain relationships. in books.
You're talking about the Darkling and Alina Starkov?
I guess that's the easiest one that I can think of. The other ones I can't. What's another toxic relationship? Yeah.
I mean, we could say like Tamlin and Feyre were a very toxic relationship.
Tamlin and Feyre, and that's why Akatar was such a big thing for me, because I read it at the beginning of quarantine when I was fresh, maybe like 6 months from being officially out of the relationship, and fresh 2 months from seeing him face to face. So that's why Akatar like really hit home for me, because that relationship and wanting and desire and wanting to be with each other was like desirable to me. And that's why Akamath hit me so much harder, because it was just like, damn, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. I romanticized the relationship I was having with him, and wasn't able to break down and be like, no, that was not okay for him to do. That was not okay for him to say. People can talk all they want about Akatar, and yes, it has a lot of things, but that relationship aspect, you can't take that from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we end this episode, let's talk about our current reads, because
Okay.
I have something funny I need to talk about. So I'm currently reading One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I am 30 pages into it. I found out today that it's a time traveling book.
What?
It's about time, like literally in the synopsis, it says August's subway crush becomes the best part of her day, but pretty soon she discovers there's a big problem. Jane doesn't look like an old school punk rocker. She's literally displaced in time from the 1970s, and August is going to have to use everything she tried to leave in her own past to help Jane. I had no idea this was a time travel book. I had no idea
Wait,
until
so I thought it was sapphic.
it is. It's a sapphic romance. August is a girl.
Oh, okay. Sorry, when I think of August, I think of like,
I know, yeah. But like, yeah, I didn't realize that until I was sitting with my coworker and I was like, DJ, they talked about scurvy. It reminded me of you. And yeah, oh, she was like, oh, I love time traveling lesbians. And I was like, time traveling? And she's like, Maggie, did you read the synopsis? And I was like, I never read synopsis. Like, I never read synopsis. And she was like, that's like the whole main point of the book. And I was like,
wow.
I like, I know
I
it.
thought it was contemporary romance.
It is. It's not like it's a contemporary rom com with a
With
little bit of it, but it's mostly contemporary rom com.
Yeah.
So
That's cute.
it's cute, but that's what I'm reading. I'm actually going to read a little bit after this episode. What are you currently reading?
I am currently reading.
You finished The Chase last night, so
I finished The Chase last night, and I want to keep writing the contemporary romance before I jump right back into fantasy. I think I'm going to jump right back into fantasy later this month.
yeah.
So I'm reading The Sweetest Oblivion by Danielle Laurie, and it is a mafia romance. My first mafia romance.
Did you use the video that I made, the ultimate smut guide?
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, okay. I thought you did. I was like,
Yeah. And
wait,
it's on Kindle Unlimited.
wait, you did or you didn't?
I think I did.
That makes me so happy that you actually used that.
Yeah, in the comments, someone commented.
Oh,
I
that
can't
makes
remember.
me so happy.
So let's see. So do you want the synopsis?
I hate synopsises. You know that.
That's true. Anyways, it's a mafia and romance, Italian mafia,
Mhm.
which I'm liking, and brother-in-law, soon to be brother-in-law, something like that. I
Mhm.
don't know. but like she's in there. It's not like, oh, it's this girl.
Like she's a part of the mafia.
She's part of it. Like she's the daughter of one of like the top dons.
Mhm.
And so far the tension, I'm like, they've had one scene together where
Is it
they
full POV?
I have no idea. I'm still in the first chapter.
Oh, okay.
I literally started it maybe an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Before this.
Well, I was still having fun with my coworkers.
Yeah. And like it's been pretty good. Like it seems like it's a pretty fast read. I got the audiobook.
Kindle, especially on Kindle. They're
Yeah.
so fast when you read them on Kindle.
Yeah. So I'm reading it on Kindle, but then the audiobook is only available on this other app. And I have to have the audiobooks. Like, Yeah, and look, and you know what, that's gonna mess me up in the Dirty Air series, because the Dirty Air series doesn't have audiobooks
Are you
yet.
gonna read it?
Yeah.
Are you
I
gonna get
ordered new covers.
Oh, you ordered
And
discrete covers?
yeah, I ordered them from the author. So
Did you get all
I
four?
told, yeah.
Oh, I only have the first one and I want to read the second one.
Oh, I got it right after I got paid. And I ordered it from the author's website, and I asked her to sign each book with her most swoon-worthy quote from that book. So
Oh,
each book has like a different quote from the book.
that's cool.
And
We're
I
talking
sent
about
it.
the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher.
Yes. They're Throttled, Wrecked,
Collided.
and Throttled? No, I said that.
Throttled. It's Throttled, Collided. I'd look it up. I literally have it on my phone right here. It's
Really?
Throttled, Collided. Okay, so Dirty Air series, it goes Throttled, Collided, Wrecked, and then Redeemed.
Yes, there we go. And they're all about F1 racers.
Yeah.
And I had been seeing this series for a
I'm
while.
surprised you committed so much to all 4 books.
Yeah. Because like I'm like, we're gonna do this. Let's do it. And I want to have more romance books on my shelf. So I'm like, I'm gonna do it anyways. And then I realized that there's no audiobook, and I'm like, it's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be fine. But I did get that one, and like the author knows that I requested that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I commented on like one of her TikToks. I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited for these new covers. And then she replied back, and she's just like, I got your request, and it was like one of the cutest requests ever. And she said like, thank you for ordering, or something like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
He knows it's me.
Yeah, I want to get them. I think I put them on like the top of my list to get those. But I also want to get like the Flock series as well. So like I probably won't be able to buy books for like the next month, but that's fine because I have books I need to read. So
Yeah.
hopefully like all of June, and then I am gonna go see Eamon in Chicago. I'm actually gonna be leaving the 26th, so I'll see her on the 26th of June is when I'm gonna leave and see her, and I'm really excited.
How long are you gonna stay with her? Or just one day?
3 days. So,
Awesome.
because it's a 7-hour drive. So I'm driving down the Saturday and I'm leaving Wednesday. So we'll literally have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday all together. I guess Saturday. It's like Saturday evening, and I'll spend the night 1, 2, 3, 4 nights, and then leave Wednesday morning. But
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, I'm really excited.
So on that, I am also going to be meeting a couple book talkers. I'm going to be meeting 2 of our previous guests. I'm going to be meeting Tish and Pauline. We are all meeting up in LA on the 14th or 12th, whichever is the Saturday. And we're going to go hang out because we're all fully vaccinated, and we wanted to celebrate and meet each other up because we all live in the area. Well, I live an hour away from Los Angeles, but
You still live close.
yeah. And so we're all going to meet up, and we're going to take a couple trips through some cool bookstores in LA. So slowly but surely, we're starting to meet our book talk friends. Yeah. Do you want to kind of talk over what our plans are for the next upcoming episodes?
So if you are listening to this, our special guest for next week's episode is going to be Garrison. And if you know him by name, then you'll probably be really excited. But Garrison is the hockey player who blew up on TikTok and who is now actually currently reading The Deal by Elle Kennedy. And he is like, a lot of people have fan casted him as Garrett, and he had that one video and it blew up on Book Talk and stuff, and everybody was talking about it. Everybody has been talking to him about the book. He's basically Book Talk forced him to read the book. So we both have read The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and we were gonna do an episode on it. And I told Grace, I was like, what if we just asked him? Like, what if we just asked him to be on? And he said yes.
So Garrison is like a really nice guy. I've joined a couple of his lives to see like what his vibe is, and he seems pretty cool and genuine. I mean, like, he did not have to pick up this book and read
He did
it.
not have to agree to come on to our very small podcast. He did not have to do any of this, and he is willing to do it. So I'm actually going to reread The Deal right before I'm probably going to read it like that night or something, because it's fast read, because I've already read it before.
Yeah, and if you haven't read The Deal by Elle Kennedy and you want to catch up on that episode and get someone's inside view who has nothing to do with Book Talk or anything reader like, then I suggest you go ahead and read it and enjoy it. It's on Amazon, I believe. It's still
free. The first
it's still free. The first book is still free on Amazon Kindle. And so if you want to go ahead and read it, make sure you guys do, so that way you guys can catch up in that episode with us. I think it'll be fun and kind of chill hanging out with.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the book. We're also going to be talking about, there's some things I wanted to address that I saw from the Book Talk community about him, and things that y'all requested from him that I really want to talk about, because I'm like, this is a no. This is a big no.
So we'll of course post an Instagram story, most likely the weekend before, with any questions. So you guys can drop some questions that you have for him, and make sure you guys look for him on TikTok. It's like Sun Done or something like that.
I'm going to be posting a TikTok about it. So y'all can drop questions in the comments below too. But
and also, speaking of TikTok, our podcast does have a TikTok. We're starting to get it going.
Grace needs to get it going. Grace, it's yes. Don't look at me.
I'm getting there because I want to make sure that we do cool videos.
I want to do, so the Bookish Banter podcast has like the aesthetics, and I want us to like have like aesthetic, like so like our aesthetic, so like your aesthetic and then my aesthetic, and like you should follow our podcast based on like our co-hosts' aesthetics.
We'll do each other's aesthetics.
Well, you can do mine. I'm busy.
Sure. And okay, so then after that, after Garrison's episode, we have I believe Jenna.
We have Jenna. So Jenna's Lit Picks. She is going to be on our 18th, on our June 18th episode. So that's going to be our episode 29. She's going to be on the podcast. We had a really great conversation with Jenna. Jenna is the sweetest person ever. We really enjoyed the conversation.
We recorded her episode this past weekend. Like I said, we've been recording early, all over the place, but plugging in episodes where they go. It was really awesome with her. She's such a sweetheart.
So like one of the nicest people ever. Most professional, nicest people I've ever met. But yes, so thank you guys for listening. This was a short episode, but we went over an hour.
That's fine. We went over my messy relationship.
Literally, like I literally was like, okay, this is gonna be under an hour, and then we just every time we talk about Grace's relationships, it always goes over an hour.
It's only one relationship, but honestly, it's probably like
one. You're just so
like 5 relationships.
You're so traumatized that you literally have so much to say about it.
I have so many stories. You know what? We'll do story times every now and then, so you listeners can listen to the red flags that I clearly ignored.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening so much. We will see you in next week's episode with Garrison. I really am excited, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.